Welcome to the Augmented Reality AI Business Card project. The goal of this project was to use augmented reality and AI to reinvent the business card experience. So business cards have remained the same for a long time, and IBM proposed that augmented reality and AI could be leveraged to create an immersive, engaging and interactive experience, whereby the user views an AR avatar or character on their device and can interact with it via spoken human natural language. Then the augmented reality character can also respond to the user via speech. So the final product built fulfills all the must-have, should-have, and could-have requirements. One last thing to mention is that I will be pausing the video throughout this demo just so I can give comments. So if you notice that the screen is frozen for a second, that's just me pausing it. So let's dive into the demo. So this is the home screen, and one of the goals was to keep the user interface clean but intuitive, and as we go through, hopefully you'll be able to see that. So we've created two experiences for the card. The first is the chatbot only, so that's essentially without AR for people who don't want to use their camera, let's say. And you'll notice that when you enter the experience, or either of the experiences actually, you're presented with this tutorial, which is just essentially just very quick set of instructions for the user so they understand what's going on, and they can click continue or skip at any point. So now let's try and talk to the chatbot.
Hi.
Hello, I'm John's 3D augmented reality avatar. Ask me questions and I'll do my best to answer.
So as you can see, our speech has been converted to text, and an answer has also been produced by the chatbot in
Tell me
text
about
and
yourself.
speech.
I'm John McNamara, a master inventor at IBM. I'm an active inventor with an invention portfolio spanning mobile, AI, messaging, integration, and predictive analytics.
So you notice that we wanted it to be natural, so you can ask the chatbot anything
Tell me
you like.
about your top skills.
In terms of the UI, you'll notice the loading icons and animations
Others would say that I am best at the following: teamwork, leadership, Java.
to essentially try and show the user that something's happening. So now let's try and look at the error handling in the application. So we've just turned it on airplane mode.
What else can you do?
And there we go, we get an information message which says that an error has occurred. And we've got error handling for example, let's say you do a blank recording. That will say, did you try and say something? If there's a server error,
What else can you do?
if there's a server error, that will also be shown to the user.
I'm John McNamara's augmented reality avatar. You can ask me about my job, my education, my top skills.
I just want to pause it here for a second to highlight something about the UI. So we've got auto scrolling feature where it will automatically scroll down as messages come through. But as you can see, this arrow on the corner, bottom right, if you're scrolled up and you click that will automatically also scroll to the bottom.
If you'd like to know how to get in touch with me, then just ask and I'll try to help.
So in trying to keep the conversation natural but also intuitive, the chatbot will also suggest things that you can talk about, especially if you say something which it doesn't understand. It might try and suggest something. Or you can always ask it, what else can you do, or something similar, and it will also suggest something. So now let's go back to the home page and click on the AR experience. And you'll notice that has a tutorial too, and each tutorial is specific to that experience. Implementing the tutorials was actually slightly harder than expected due to the navigation, because they sit in between the home screen and the actual experience, and we wanted it so that if you're on the experience, whether you've been on the tutorial or not, you should go back to home. So we had to actually manually override the manual back button as well as the software back button within those two screen components. The tutorials can also be turned off, so we've actually implemented user preferences or settings, which is persistent storage on the device. So whether you close the app, restart it, that will be saved. And you can turn tutorials on and off. So now that it's off, if we go back to the AR experience, that should launch straight away, just to show that that's working. Now that we're in the AR experience, you'll notice that the image target is the IBM Augmented Reality logo that we've created. So by pointing your camera at that will essentially trigger the AR.
Hi,
and you see
what's
the
your
model
name?
initialize. And the chatbot functionalities essentially the same component as before, just mapped onto this new screen.
My full name is John McNamara, but feel free to call me John. What's your name?
My name is Bobby.
Hi, Bobby. Great to meet you.
I just want to pause it here a second to highlight a couple of things. So the first is the differing UI that we've got on the augmented reality screen. So you'll notice that there's a opacity gradient, and that was to increase immersion. So we didn't want to obstruct the user's view from the actual augmented reality experience itself. The second thing to notice is that the chatbot actually asked for our name, and now we've given it, it's been able to recognize that name. So we actually fed the model about 32,000 names from all over the world, as well as sentences of how people say their names, so it can recognize their name from a sentence. And what's cool about the chatbot is that you'll see later on in the conversation, it's actually aware of conversation context and that I've actually given it my name now. So later on, it may be able to address me by my name.
Anything else you would like to ask me, Bobby? Ask me to read you my LinkedIn About section, or talk about my education if you like.
So this here again is another example of it naturally guiding the conversation and the user.
What was your previous role? Talk to me about your job history.
So here you'll be able to see from its answer that it's actually capable of understanding a fairly complex question.
I currently work for IBM, and my current job title is Master Inventor. I've been at IBM for 21 years. Before my current job, I was a Master Inventor, Honorary Professor, IBM UK Academic Led at IBM.
So there it recognised that it should talk about both its current role as well as its previous role.
What did you study at university?
I studied information systems at University of Humberside. I graduated in the year 1994 with a BSc in information systems.
So now I want to draw your attention to the animations. So you'll notice that when nothing's happening, the chatbot's in an idle state, so doing these idle animations.
Do you speak Latin?
But as soon as we ask it a question, you'll see that it goes to thinking state. So now his animation's changed. Hand on chin, he's thinking. And now he's about to reply.
Not quite getting that. Try asking me what else I can do if you're stuck.
You'll see the talking animation. So he's moving his hands as if
What
as if
else
to
can
talk.
you do?
Just to pause it for 1 second. So what we've implemented is essentially a full feedback loop between both the React Native application and also the Unity application. So what the user is doing at the time will also reflect what state that the animation should be in. So the user also gets feedback from not just the front end application with the loading screens and things happening, but also from the Unity application with animations to show that, okay, something's happening, the avatar's thinking or the avatar's talking, etc. And that all works to build up the immersion. Just another point that I think is worth mentioning here is that you'll see this last example, do you speak Latin, was an example of a question that the chatbot actually couldn't answer. So it says, not quite getting that, try asking me what else I can do.
I'm John McNamara's augmented reality avatar. You can ask me about my job, my education, my top skills. If you'd like to know how to get in touch with me, then just ask and I'll try to help.
You're the best.
So there's a few Easter eggs implemented within the application, and this is just one of them.
Want to see something cool?
Yeah, okay. Sounds great.
Watch this.
To introduce what's coming up next, the app provides some shortcuts for the user to be able to contact the business card owner. So that uses native linking and deep linking to open up the native apps on the user's phone.
How can I get in touch with you?
We'll see examples of that shortly in a second.
You can get in touch with me via email, phone, or LinkedIn. Which do you prefer?
Phone.
My phone number is 078975654777. Do you want me to open this on the dial screen?
Yeah, sure.
Opening the dial screen now.
And you can see that it's opened up the dial screen with the number already pre-filled out. And the number there is just with the extra stars, just because I didn't want people to get confused that they might actually call a real number.
Can you show me your LinkedIn profile?
And there's a similar thing for LinkedIn and also email. So you'll have the option to open up the native phone applications.
My LinkedIn profile URL is https://uk.linkedin.com/and/jumpnamar. Feel free to take a look at my profile or send me a message there, Bobby.
Just to pause it for a second, this is an example of the chatbot being aware of conversational context. So he's just said my name because I told him my name earlier. If that conversation earlier hadn't happened and I hadn't told him my name, or he hadn't asked for it, then there would actually be a different message here, or he wouldn't say my name. Also, what's happening at the moment is an example of the conversation depth that we've implemented within the chatbot. So you can see that now it's asking a confirmation question based on or related to its previous response.
Do you want to view my profile now?
Yeah, okay, sounds great.
And it knows exactly what I've said yes to.
Opening my profile now.
Can I send you an email?
One of the big advantages about building a native application was being able to use native linking and deep linking to be able to provide the most useful shortcuts to the users.
You should be able to contact me at my email, j0nnnymac@uk.ibm.com. Would you like to send an email now, Bobby?
So an example of this is that we can actually
Yeah, okay, that sounds good.
fully pre-compose emails.
Opening up your default email client now.
And that's pretty much everything. So thank you very much for your time, and I hope you enjoyed this demo of the Augmented Reality AI business card.